83-year-old Isaiah Andrews is now a free man after spending 45 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. Isaiah was found guilty of murdering his wife back in 1974 and sentenced to life in prison. He spent nearly 5 decades there until the Ohio Innocence Project got wind of his case. With their help, he got a new trial, and last week a new jury found him not guilty, despite the fact that almost all of the original witnesses have long since passed away. Joining me now to discuss Isaiah's long road to freedom is Brian Howe, staff attorney for the Ohio Innocence Project. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Isaiah went into prison a young man in his 30s and walked out in his 80s. That's 45 years of his life taken from him. I can't even imagine what it must be like for him now. How is he adjusting to his new life in a world that's vastly different before he went on the inside?
It is. I mean, I think he's doing a great job, all things considered. You're absolutely right. This is a different world than the one that he that he left in 1974 when he was wrongfully convicted for the murder of his wife. And since his release in April 2020, unfortunately, he has been, or prior to his trial, he was on house arrest. And was mostly confined to his home. So for him, I think the adjustment's been gradual, and thankfully he's had a community of exonerees in Northeast Ohio that's sort of helped ease that transition, people who have been there before, people who have been in his position, and who have really treated him like family over the last year and a half.
Now, he was found guilty of murdering his wife back in 1975. What can you tell us about his case, the one that sent him away for 45 years?
Well, the case in 1975 was almost entirely circumstantial. He was convicted based on some testimony from two maids at a hotel where he and his wife were staying, and while they had just purchased a house. They had been married, they were newlyweds, they'd been married for about a month, and they were staying at a hotel temporarily until they could move into this new house. And in mid-September 1974, his wife was found murdered, stabbed to death, and her body left in a public park on the east side of Cleveland. And that sort of cascaded began the process of his wrongful conviction in 1975.
So not one piece of evidence, physical evidence, was ever found tying Isaiah to the crime, and the prosecution's entire case was built around two eyewitnesses whose testimony, you say, was shaky at best. Why?
Well, and part of this involves what was not known in 1975, and this is really the crux of the matter. What had happened was when the police initially discovered the body, they made an arrest in the case within 8 hours of discovering the body, and it was not Isaiah Andrews. They'd arrested a different man. They traced the hotel linens back to a hotel, Howard Johnson Hotel, a different hotel than Mr. Andrews had been staying at. They found from the desk clerk there that a man named Willie Watts had stripped those same exact sheets off of his room that morning. And in fact, when they went to go find where Willie Watts was, it turns out his mother's house was within 1,500 feet of where the body was found, clear across town. So police solved the crime right then. They knew, or they had a prime suspect. It was Willie Watts. He was arrested. And then they made a mistake with the time of death. And because they believed at that time that she was killed the night before, and because Willie Watts had an alibi in that time, they released Willie Watts. And really having no other suspects, that's when they turned to Isaiah Andrews. And effectively, the police re-interviewed two other guests at the hotel whose stories changed multiple times. They had 3 or 4 different versions of events. Finally, on the final version of events, they had one maid who had seen Mr. Andrews allegedly leaving his room carrying a bag, and had seen Miss Andrews in the room before that. That was the only testimony that convicted him in 1975. The information about the alternate suspect, the information about Willie Watts, it was covered up from the defense for 46 years. And that is why his conviction was overturned in 2020.
Now, Brian, we cover cases of wrongful convictions weekly on this show, and they're always riddled with prosecutorial misconduct. Why, in this case, was it so crucial that actually got, because I mean, when we cover these cases, we talk about what prosecutors didn't say to the defense, what they hid, and it in some cases wasn't enough to grant someone a new trial. Why was that the case here?
Well, in this case, I mean, I think it was clear to the trial court in 2020 that this is the only reason that he was convicted in 1975 in the first place was because they covered up evidence that the prime suspect had stripped his sheets off of his bed, the same sheets that were found around the victim, and had later broken into his mother's house 1,500 feet from where the park was found. That is the only reason that Isaiah Andrews was convicted in 1975. And the proof of that is that after a week and a half of trial in just this month, the jury deliberated for about 90 minutes before they came back with an acquittal. And this is the first time that a jury has had a chance to hear that information. And it was a very, very quick not guilty verdict.
Now, just about everybody involved with the original trial is now dead, including the witnesses and investigators. The new trial featured, like you said, mostly readings of old transcripts. Did those witnesses ever recant their initial testimony when they were living?
No, in fact, I mean, this was one of the. I mean, it was bizarre to see. Effectively, the state brought in assistant prosecutors, young attorneys, to read the parts, play parts. It was play acting of old witnesses who had been dead for sometimes decades, and we didn't have an opportunity to truly cross-examine these witnesses. Not only was the evidence against Willie Watts covered up in the original trial in 1975, but also so were the prior statements of the state's two main witnesses, Betty Worthy and Linda Cloud. And so, it was a frustrating experience to see these, what was an unfair trial in 1975, basically sort of preserved in amber, being reread back to the jury. And we really had to put a lot of faith in the jury to untangle that. They did have access to all of the police reports that were covered up. We got to explain to them the importance of those reports in opening and closing. And to their credit, the jury got it absolutely right. They had no problem seeing through what happened here.
They had no problem, but Brian, do you think that the outcome would have been the same had those individuals been were inside that courtroom standing by what they say they saw?
Well, the jury came back with a not guilty in about 90 minutes. I think if they had been there and cross-examined, maybe we could have gotten it down to a half an hour. I think the state's case was extremely weak. It was an extremely weak case. It should not have been rebrought in the first place. The charges should have been dismissed when the evidence against Willie Watts came to light back in 2019. This is a trial that should not have happened in the first place, frankly. And so, the witnesses not being alive was a handicap, I think, for the defense. But, at the end of the day, Willie Watts was the person who committed this crime, and Isaiah, was victimized in 1975. He had lost his wife, and he continued to be victimized even through just this last week. So it's good that it's over, but it should have never happened in the first place.
Well, Isaiah says, "I've become free." Those were his words after he heard the not guilty verdict that was read. Through it all, Isaiah has always maintained his innocence, never giving up on his fight for freedom. Where do you think he drew his strength and his courage from? I mean, his wife was murdered brutally. Did he have family to rely on? I mean, how did he maintain such strength through 45 years behind bars that were stolen from him?
It's a great question. I mean, he is an incredibly strong person. He has a strength of character unlike anyone I've ever met in my life before. All of his family has long since passed away. He really had no one else. He was the youngest of all of his siblings, and now he's in his mid-80s. There's no one left for him family-wise, other than sort of the adopted family of other exonerees, people who have been wrongfully convicted in Ohio. who are sort of an adopted family at this point. But in terms of what kept him going all of those years, I mean, I think it's just a special strength of character from him personally. I think it's just who he is. And I'm thankful that he had that strength, because it did take 46 years for this to come to light.
Wow. Brad Howe, staff attorney for the Ohio Innocence Project. Thank you so much for your time, sir, and the work that you're doing. Thank you.